Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Aaron, and today we're taking a look at the Atom Elements Bluetooth Smart Scale. Real quick shout out and thanks to Atom Elements for setting out this scale for me to take a look at, to share with you guys. Inside the box you get some promotional information, you get a really helpful user guide, and then you get the scale itself. The scale is made out of tempered glass and has a max supported weight of 330 pounds. Out of the box, it also comes displaying kilograms, so there's a button on the very bottom of the scale that you press just once to change that to the correct measurement of unit, or unit of measurement to pounds, and then you actually know how much you weigh and you don't have to convert it through a calculator. The scale, of course, has the typical screen that you would expect on a digital scale, so that you actually can tell the information as to how much you weigh. And then it also has what looks to be decorative lines underneath the glass. And those are actually sensors for the smart functionalities of this scale. The Atom Element scale is actually able to track a lot of different helpful health information. And that includes your weight, your body fat percentage, your BMI, body water composition, muscle and bone mass, and then your basal metabolic rate. It does quite a bit. Like most tech people, when I get a user guide for something, it usually goes straight into the trash. I don't suggest you do that with this scale though, because there's so many things that you need to understand to be able to know what does this mean and what does that mean. Using the user guide is actually really helpful, and it explains what all the different symbols mean. I'm going to cover that in my video as well, but it's nice to have that to reference on. Once you step on the scale, it measures your weight pretty quickly. Afterwards, you will see BIA show up at the bottom, and then after that, you'll get 3 radio signals like you would on your phone for, for Wi-Fi, but this stands for Bluetooth connected. After that, there's a couple of pieces of paper that'll show up, and that stands for data transferring. And then to the left of that, if the battery is low on your scale, you'll see a below battery icon like you would expect that's gonna flash that just tells you need to change your batteries. When you see the BIA on the scale, this is actually when it's measuring your BMI, your bone and muscle mass, and all the other things that I mentioned before. And it's actually surprising how fast it actually does this with all of the things that it's actually scanning for. To be able to find all of the different measurement things that it does, like your body mass index and your body fat percentages and all of that stuff, it does use a very small electrical current to be able to do the measuring of that. And for that reason, it does say that pregnant women, kids, and then those using pacemakers or some other type of electrical device to keep them alive shouldn't use this scale. You hear electrical current, you may be thinking, is this thing gonna shock me? Am I gonna feel this when it's measuring me? And the answer to that is no. I've weighed myself a ton of different times, and it feels no different on this scale than it does standing on any other tempered glass scale that we have. Like the scale that we had before this one was tempered glass, and it literally feels no different. I wanted to go ahead and reiterate a point that the user manual makes pretty clear. You have to have dry feet to get accurate results from this scale. I think that's because with the electrical current, I mean, don't worry about getting shocked because you have wet feet, but it's probably a smart idea to not have wet feet when you're standing on something that's going to send electricity through you. Just a minor pro tip there. But the first day that I actually weighed myself here to work, I had worn dress socks and dress shoes, and those things don't breathe, so my feet were very sweaty. So the first time I stepped on the scale, it read me in at 200 pounds. And even on like a bad day where like for some reason I drink a ton of water, I'm eating all of my feelings and have like 3 buffet meals, I don't weigh 200 pounds, so I knew something was off. So I went ahead and read the directions again and said, make sure you have dry feet. So I dried my feet off and then weighed myself again, not more than a couple of minutes later, and it immediately dropped me down 5 pounds. So in this case, reading the user guide and following the directions on how to properly weigh yourself is going to play a big key factor into if you're getting accurate results with the scale or not. As I'm sure many of you do whenever you get a new scale, just so you know if you can trust it or not, you weigh yourself on the new scale, you weigh yourself on the old scale, you compare it to see if there's really much of a difference. And if there's a big difference, of course you don't trust the new one because you have your old trusty over here that you're just gonna trust some more. What I've been doing, like I said, I've been weighing myself on the new scale, and then I've been weighing myself on the old scale, and they're literally just about spot on. Most days they're identical. Some days the newer scale is a little bit heavier, but I mean, on the days that it was off, it was like 0.4 pounds, so it's really not that much and not enough for me to go, I don't trust you, I'm never using you again. Regarding the companion app, it's simply called Atom Elements, and it can be found on both iOS and Android. To be able to use the app, you can either register for an account or you can be a guest, but I went ahead and registered for an account, but you do whatever you want to do. My favorite feature of this scale is the feature of being able to add family members to the app so that you can motivate each other. I like being married, and women and husbands knowing women's weight doesn't really go over that well, and I like being married. So I decided to go ahead and not use this feature. If you want to use this feature, feel free. Maybe you just have a different wife than I do. So I went ahead and bypassed that feature, but you've got the ability to add people to the app to be able to keep track of each other's weight. So like maybe if you're tracking your kid, even though it says not to weigh kids, so don't do that. That's a terrible example. Maybe you've got a roommate, like you and a guy roommate or a girl roommate or whatever, are trying to keep each other accountable. Maybe do it that way. But outside of that, if you like your family life, I wouldn't do that. If you do end up registering for the app, the one thing that is kind of annoying is that they force you to have a profile picture. Now, with mine, I just used like a picture of a tea bag that I had used before, so it wasn't a big deal, but it's kind of annoying that they forced you to use a profile picture, but I mean, it's not like a huge deal. But then after that, you go ahead and choose, your sex, put in your birthday, your height, your weight, your blood type for some reason. Haven't quite figured that one out. And then which piece of equipment you want to use, which in this case, you're using the BF1 body fat analyzer. To actually use this app to track your weight is pretty straightforward. You simply just open the app, click on the hamburger menu up at the top left, choose weight, and then step on the scale. When you first open the app and get to the weight section, you'll notice that the Bluetooth icon up at the top right will say off. Now, when you stand on the scale and the scale gets through the BIA and it gets to the Bluetooth connected and the data transferring stages, this will change very quickly, and you'll see that the app will get updated with the information from your weigh-in almost instantly. The app also has this great feature that when you first set up your profile, it asks you what your goal weight is. And every time you step on the scale and your data that comes across has your weight above that value, it tells you weight is above the target value, please keep tracking. So while it motivates you to keep your butt moving and keep losing weight, it also insults you by misspelling the word target. So thanks guys. Since it's February of a new year, your goal for weight loss and living a healthier lifestyle may still be intact, because January, your gym membership was used a lot. February, it starts to die down a little bit, so maybe you're looking at a scale to keep yourself, motivated. If you want a smart scale to do that, this scale is definitely worth checking out. I've had no issues with it at all. There is reporting that you can run that actually shows you trends on line graphs and everything. I've never had issues with the weight being way off. I've never had issues with the Bluetooth not connecting. It's just been a really enjoyable experience with a cool piece of tech that I highly suggest to anyone that's really in the market for something like this. If this video was helpful to you at all, please hit that like button. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. I'd love to help you out in any way that I can. If you want to see more consumer tech related reviews on tech that I use and enjoy, and I think you will too, hit that subscribe button. But until the next one, this is Aaron. Take care.